You're scrolling through your phone at 11 p.m. You're tired. Maybe you had a rough day at work. Maybe you're just bored. And then you see it, an ad for something you didn't even know existed 5 seconds ago. A kitchen gadget, a pair of shoes, some tech accessory. Within 3 minutes, you've added it to your cart. Within 5 minutes, you've checked out. 2 days shipping. And here's the crazy part. The moment you hit that purchase button, you feel amazing. Your mood lifts. You feel excited. You're already imagining yourself using this thing. Fast forward 2 weeks, the package arrived, you opened it, used it maybe once, and now it's sitting in a drawer or closet with all the other stuff you bought in those late-night shopping sessions. If you've ever looked at a pile of purchases and thought, why did I buy all this? You're about to understand the neuroscience behind why your brain can't help itself. They call me Mr. Ben, and I spend way too much time thinking about why we buy things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't like. If you're someone who keeps making purchases you regret and you can't figure out why you keep doing it, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Here's the thing. We've been sold this story that we're rational creatures who make logical purchasing decisions based on needs and careful consideration. It seems obvious, right? You need something, you research it, you compare prices, you buy the best option. That's just being a smart consumer. Except that's not what actually happens. What actually happens is that your brain is being hijacked by a chemical reward system that was designed for survival in a world that no longer exists, and retailers have figured out exactly how to exploit it. The term neuroscientists use is the dopamine reward pathway, and it's the same system that makes you crave sugar, sex, and social media notifications. It's also the exact same system that drug addiction hijacks. And here's what most people don't realize. Shopping doesn't just activate this system. For many people, it's become their drug of choice. According to research from major universities studying consumer behavior, over 95% of all purchasing decisions are driven by emotion, not logic. You're not buying things because you need them. You're buying things because your brain is chasing a chemical high, and that high is getting shorter and less satisfying every single time. Let me take you inside your brain for a second, because understanding the neuroscience is crucial to understanding why you can't stop buying stuff. When you see something you want, before you even consciously decide whether to buy it, your nucleus accumbens lights up. That's the pleasure center of your brain. It's the same region that activates when someone who's addicted to substances sees their drug of choice. Researchers at Harvard Business School have actually scanned people's brains while they shop. They found that your brain calculates how good buying something will feel before you consciously think about whether you should buy it. The decision is made neurologically before it's made rationally. That leather jacket, that new phone, that kitchen appliance you saw on Instagram, your brain is already flooding with dopamine before you even read the price tag. And here's what makes it even more powerful. Dopamine doesn't get released when you get the reward. Dopamine gets released in anticipation of the reward. Studies with monkeys and humans have proven this over and over. The chemical rush happens when you're thinking about getting the thing, not when you actually have it. That's why the most exciting part of shopping isn't using what you bought. It's the moment you click purchase. It's the anticipation of the package arriving. It's imagining yourself with the product. The actual product is almost always a letdown compared to the dopamine rush of buying it. Now you might be thinking, hey, Mr. Ben, I'm not addicted to shopping. I just like getting good deals and treating myself occasionally. And look, maybe you're right. But let me walk you through what actually happens in a typical shopping scenario. It's Sunday afternoon, you're feeling a bit down, maybe you're stressed about work tomorrow, maybe you're lonely, maybe you're just bored. You pick up your phone, you open Instagram or TikTok. Within 2 minutes, you see something advertised that catches your eye. Your brain immediately starts calculating. Researchers call this the wanting versus liking distinction. You don't actually know if you'll like the product, you've never used it, but your brain wants it. That want triggers dopamine release. You feel a little surge of excitement. The ad says limited time offer, only 3 left in stock, free shipping if you order in the next hour. Your brain's threat detection system kicks in. Scarcity, urgency, fear of missing out. These are all evolutionary triggers that used to keep you alive in dangerous situations. Now they're being used to make you buy yoga mats. You click through to the product page. More dopamine. You read the reviews. 5 stars. Everyone loves it. Social proof. Your brain evolved to copy what other members of your tribe are doing because that kept you safe. If everyone else is buying this thing, your subconscious assumes it must be valuable. More dopamine. You imagine yourself using the product. You picture how much better your life will be when you own it. Neuroscientists have found that when you imagine owning something, your brain experiences a chemical response almost identical to actually owning it. You're getting the reward before you've paid a cent. The price is $49, normally $120. That's 60% off. Your brain doesn't process this logically. Your brain doesn't think, is this worth $49 to me? Your brain thinks, I'm saving $71. I'm winning. Studies on pricing psychology show that discounts trigger the same reward response as finding food when you're hungry. It's not about the money, it's about the win, about feeling like you outsmarted the system, about getting more than you paid for. And the kicker is, you were never going to pay $120 for this thing. You didn't even know it existed 10 minutes ago. But your brain has already decided that you're getting an incredible deal, and you'd be stupid to pass it up.
So you buy it. The moment you click that button, massive dopamine surge. You feel great. You feel accomplished. You feel like you did something good for yourself. For about 15 minutes, you're genuinely happier than you were before. But here's where it gets really dark. That dopamine rush doesn't last. Research from Stanford and other institutions studying the neuroscience of consumer behavior found that the average shopping high lasts less than 1 day. For many people, it's gone within hours. By the time the product arrives, you've already moved on mentally. You might not even be that excited to open the package. You definitely don't get the same chemical rush from using the product that you got from buying it. Because dopamine is about anticipation and novelty, not satisfaction. Once you have the thing, it's no longer novel. Your brain stops caring. This is why your closet is full of clothes with tags still on them, why your garage has exercise equipment you use twice, why you have subscriptions you forgot about and gadgets collecting dust. You weren't buying those things because you needed them or even because you really wanted to use them. You were buying the dopamine hit. You were buying the feeling of buying.
Let's talk about why this is getting worse, because the shopping dopamine trap has exploded in the last decade in ways that would have been impossible before. In 1970, if you wanted to impulse buy something, you had to physically go to a store. That created natural barriers. You had to get in your car, drive somewhere, walk through aisles, stand in a checkout line, hand someone money or write a check. Those friction points gave your rational brain time to catch up with your emotional brain, time to think, do I really need this? By the time you got home, you might have talked yourself out of it. Today, there is zero friction. You can buy anything, anytime, from anywhere with 2 clicks. You don't even have to enter your credit card information anymore. It's saved. 1-click purchase. According to data from consumer psychology researchers, the average person makes 160 purchases per year just for emotional regulation, not because they need anything, because they're stressed, sad, bored, or anxious. That's 3 purchases a week driven purely by feelings. Younger generations are even worse. The data shows millennials average $8,259 per year on what researchers call retail therapy. That's not counting normal purchases. That's just stuff they bought to feel better. And retailers know exactly what they're doing. They've spent billions of dollars studying your brain. They know about dopamine. They know about scarcity. They know about social proof. They know about the power of anticipation. Amazon didn't accidentally make 1-click purchasing. They designed it specifically to reduce the time between impulse and transaction, because they know that's when your rational brain might intervene.
They didn't accidentally make Prime with 2-day shipping. They did it because research shows that anticipation of a package arriving triggers more dopamine than slow shipping. Waiting creates excitement. The faster the shipping, the more frequently you can experience that anticipation dopamine hit, which means the more often you'll buy. Target doesn't accidentally put the dollar section right at the entrance. They put it there because small, cheap impulse purchases train your brain to associate walking into Target with buying something. It's classical conditioning. Same reason grocery stores put candy at the checkout. Your brain creates an association between being in that environment and getting a reward. Eventually, just walking into the store triggers dopamine release before you've bought anything. Social media has made it exponentially worse. Instagram and TikTok aren't just showing you ads, they're showing you other people buying things. Unboxing videos, haul videos, influencers showing off their latest purchases. Your brain sees this and interprets it as everyone in your tribe is acquiring these resources and you're falling behind. Fear of missing out isn't just a cute acronym, it's an evolutionary survival mechanism that's being weaponized to make you spend money. Studies have found that 76% of people report being more excited about packages arriving in the mail than things they bought in stores. Why? Because of anticipation. Because online shopping maximizes the dopamine window between purchase and delivery. You get the high when you buy, then you get micro hits every time you check the tracking, then you get another hit when it arrives, then the crash when you realize the thing doesn't actually make you happy. But by then, your brain has already learned that shopping equals dopamine. So what do you do when you crash? You shop again. It's the exact same cycle as substance use. Tolerance, dependence, withdrawal, relapse.
Now let's talk about the psychological component, because the dopamine is only half the story. The other half is what researchers call compensatory consumption. This is the idea that you shop to compensate for deficiencies in other areas of your life. Had a terrible day at work where you felt powerless and disrespected? Shopping gives you control. You get to choose. You get to decide. Research has proven that making purchasing decisions, even hypothetical ones, reduces feelings of sadness, specifically because sadness is associated with lack of control. Shopping temporarily makes you feel like you're in charge of something. Feeling lonely or disconnected? Shopping gives you a sense of belonging. You buy brands that signal you're part of a group. You buy things influencers recommend because it makes you feel connected to them. You buy what your friends buy because humans are tribal and we feel safer when we're doing what our tribe does. Studies on consumer behavior have found that people are far more likely to make purchases when they're with friends or when they see friends buying things. It's social contagion. One person buys something and it triggers everyone else to buy. Feeling inadequate or insecure about your status? Shopping provides instant status signaling. You buy the expensive brand, the limited edition item, the thing that says, I can afford this and you can't. Research shows this is especially powerful with luxury goods and visible brands. Your brain thinks that owning high-status items will make you higher status. Sometimes it does, temporarily. But the chemical reward of status signaling fades fast, which means you need to keep buying more expensive things to maintain the high. This is why people get trapped in lifestyle inflation. The $300 bag stops feeling special after a month. Now you need the $800 bag, then the $2,000 bag. It never ends because your brain adapts to each new level. Feeling bored or understimulated? Shopping provides novelty and mental stimulation. Walking through stores or scrolling through products gives your brain something to focus on. It's colorful, it's engaging, it triggers sensory responses. Research on retail therapy has found that even window shopping, where you don't buy anything, can improve mood because the stimulation itself is rewarding. The problem is you can't window shop online. There's no barrier between browsing and buying, so what starts as distraction becomes spending. Here's what really gets me, the thing that makes this trap so insidious. The purchases that trap people in this dopamine cycle aren't luxury items most of the time. They're small things, the $15 gadget, the $30 shirt, the $8 coffee, things that seem harmless individually, but they add up to thousands of dollars a year. And more importantly, they reinforce the neural pathway that says, when I feel bad, I should shop.
Every single small purchase strengthens that connection in your brain. It's training you to associate negative emotions with spending money. Eventually, you can't experience stress without reaching for your phone to browse. You can't feel sad without adding things to your cart. You've literally rewired your brain to use shopping as your primary emotional regulation tool. And unlike other coping mechanisms, this one costs money you probably don't have. According to research, 62% of people who engage in retail therapy say they do it to cheer themselves up. Most of them report it works in the short term. Almost none of them report long-term happiness from the things they bought. Because you can't buy your way out of emotional problems, you can only temporarily distract yourself from them, while simultaneously creating new problems in the form of debt, clutter, and guilt.
So what do you do about it? Because here's the reality. You can't avoid shopping. You can't delete every app. You can't eliminate exposure to advertising. You live in a consumer economy that's specifically designed to exploit your neurology. But you can understand what's happening, and understanding changes everything. First, start recognizing the pattern. When you feel the urge to buy something, pause. Ask yourself what you're actually feeling right now. Are you stressed, sad, bored, lonely, anxious? The urge to shop is almost never about the product. It's about the feeling you're trying to create or avoid. Research on impulse control shows that simply identifying the emotion behind the urge reduces the likelihood of acting on it by more than 40%. Your rational brain can't compete with your emotional brain in a direct fight. But if you can name the emotion, you give your rational brain a chance to catch up. Second, build in friction. Delete your saved credit card information from websites. Uninstall shopping apps from your phone. Make yourself physically type in your card number every time you want to buy something. Those extra 30 seconds create a gap between impulse and action. Studies show that even small barriers to purchasing reduce impulse buys by up to 60%. It's not about making shopping impossible. It's about creating enough pause for you to ask, do I really want this, or do I want the feeling I think this will give me? Third, find alternative dopamine sources. Your brain needs dopamine. That's not the problem. The problem is that you're getting it from shopping because shopping is easy and immediate. But exercise releases dopamine. Social connection releases dopamine. Learning new things releases dopamine. Accomplishing goals releases dopamine. These sources produce longer-lasting satisfaction than shopping because they're tied to actual growth and achievement rather than just anticipation. Research shows that people who have strong, non-consumption-based dopamine sources are significantly less likely to engage in impulse shopping. They still shop, they just don't need to shop to feel good. Fourth, practice gratitude for what you already have. This sounds like generic self-help advice, but there's real neuroscience behind it. Gratitude activates similar reward pathways as acquiring new things. Studies have found that people who regularly practice gratitude report lower urges to make unnecessary purchases. Why? Because shopping is often driven by a sense of lack. You see something new and your brain focuses on the gap between what you have and what you could have. Gratitude shifts your focus to what you already have, which reduces the perceived gap, which reduces the craving. I want to leave you with one final thought because I think it reframes this whole conversation. The dopamine shopping trap isn't really about shopping. It's about using the easiest available tool to manage emotions you don't know how to process. It's about replacing genuine connection, accomplishment, and meaning with the temporary illusion of all those things. Our grandparents couldn't impulse shop at midnight from their phones. They couldn't have packages arriving every other day. They couldn't scroll through infinite products designed by algorithms to exploit their exact psychological vulnerabilities. They had to find other ways to cope with negative emotions. Those ways were often harder. They required more effort, but they also built resilience instead of debt. The families who thrive financially in the modern economy aren't the ones who never shop. They're the ones who've recognized that shopping is a tool, not a solution.
That buying things can serve practical purposes, but it can't fix emotional ones. That the temporary dopamine hit of clicking purchase is not the same thing as happiness, satisfaction, or contentment. You can't shop your way to a better life. You can only shop your way to more stuff and less money. Now you know why your brain tricks you into buying things you don't want. The question is what you're going to do about it. If this video helped you see your shopping habits differently, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more content that challenges how you think about money.